go.
Oh, okay. Welcome to the Wednesday, January 8, 2025 organizational board meeting. The first thing that at every organizational board meeting, the board votes on a board president and vice president, and usually they have a pro temp person to be pro temp to start the meeting. So at our board meeting, I would like to ask the board if they could entertain the motion of board authorization to Dr. Rock to be the president pro temp for the beginning of the meeting for the elections.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I vote that, I move that we authorize you to serve as the president pro temp.
Thank you. We have one moved by Mrs. Gayer. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Moomin. Any further discussion? I'll take a roll on that. Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mrs. Gator?
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be president. Well, welcome to the organizational meeting. At the beginning of every calendar year, the board meets to organize for the new calendar year. Happy New Year to everybody, 2025.
Thank you.
The organizational meeting allows the board to nominate and elect the board president and vice president for the new calendar year. The organizational meeting also allows the board to set the board meeting calendar, establish committee assignments, and approve standing authorizations for the superintendent and treasurer. As president pro temp of the board, I would like to recognize the Warrensville Heights Board of Education for successfully providing effective governance directly impacting the district with new facilities and a successful educational program striving to be the best. Organizing is a journey, not a destination, and I'm looking forward to continuing the successful journey for our district. With that, can we do the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm about to fix that. Spell the error on the agenda. This is spell the error. Okay. David, I'm gonna fix something, and then if you could just reset it. Like, yeah, I'm about to. It's an error on here. Go ahead.
And then I'll also call the meeting to order. Mr. Fuller.
Here.
Mrs. Gator.
Here.
Mrs. Moomin.
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Freeman.
Here.
Okay. So now the board will take nominations for board president for 2025. With the pro temp president gathering the nominations, then seeking a motion to vote for the election of the Warrensville Heights Board of Education board president for 2025 with a roll call to follow. So it's open now for any nominations.
I'll nominate Earl for president.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mrs. Gates.
I'll nominate Earl Roberts for president.
And I'll second it.
So Mrs. Gator and Mrs. Moomin nominated Mr. Roberts. Any further nominations? Okay, so then there's a motion to elect the Warrensville Heights Board of Education Board President for 2025 with a roll call to follow for Mr. Roberts.
Are you asking for us to?
You got to call names.
Oh, no, yeah, Mrs. Gator motioned and Mrs. Moomin seconded, and there was no more nominations, so now we could just take the roll call. Mrs. Gator?
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Fuller?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Roberts will be the board president for 2025.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the next one, Now the board will take nominations for board vice president for 2025, with the pro temp president gathering the nominations, then seeking a motion to vote for the election of the Warrensville Heights Board of Education vice president for 2025, with a roll call to follow. It's now open for nominations for vice president.
So, excuse me, 1 second. At what point does Earl take over the meeting? Doesn't he take it over from this point on?
He could now if you want, but
I think that's the way it goes.
I mean,
Okay.
you could do it that way, but
What's
you're
the
right,
tradition?
Mimi's right. It does.
That's how y'all,
That's typically how we do it.
I've just always had it written where I did both, so, okay.
That's fine.
Whatever is the board's pleasure.
Dr. Rock can do it. Okay.
I didn't even have to hit the gavel.
thank you, Dr. Rock.
So we'll just take
Yes, sir.
nominations and then I'll do the roll.
Okay, you served a fine term, sir.
Oh, thank you. It was a successful run.
Right.
Good job, Dr. Rock.
All right, so that brings us to item 1.6, election of board vice president. I will now open the floor for nominations.
I would like to nominate Ray Freeman, Vice President.
All right, we have Ray. Any additional nominations? Okay, do I have a motion to proceed forward with the vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we, on item 1.6, is that what you're asking me to do?
Yes.
Is to do the motion?
Yes,
or-
please. A motion to have the vote, to
We don't
vote.
need to do a motion to have the vote, I don't think,
We
right?
just did it, we just did it before. You made the motion and Ms. Gator,
Okay,
seconded.
I will make a motion then to vote for Ray Freeman for president, vice president.
And I'll second it.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Rock, is that correct? I mean, we did
Yes,
the same thing?
yes.
Okay, all right. Dr. Rock, please call the roll.
Sorry. Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Freeman.
Thank you.
Next, item 1.7 said time and dates of board meetings. We have this document in here that Dr. Rock handed us with the dates. I figure we might as well just take the time right now to go over all the dates. So like, sure we had a time to look at it, but it's like, oh, I have a conflict on that particular date. We can go ahead and resolve it now instead of waiting till the beginning of that month when it clicks in. So start with this month. We have today. We have the 15th for the mid-year formative review, and the 22nd for the board, for the regular board meeting, and that'll be the first meeting that the principals are going to come to.
The 29th.
And on that note, I spoke with Mr. Farnsworth, and we confirmed for the 15th. He said he will be contacting Mr. Jolly and Dr. Rock very shortly to get them squared away for the business we'll have to take care of on the 15th. So this month we're looking at today, 15 and 29. Any known conflict?
No conflicts. I just want to confirm that the time for the 15th is going to be 6:30.
Right.
Yes, we'll go.
Okay.
We will assume 6:30 unless there's something denoted or if it's some special circumstance.
So we have not sent out a meeting notice for any of these yet? Okay.
No. I don't believe we have.
No,
we haven't sent out any
usually-
We
additional-
do it a week before.
What we do is the board sets all the calendar at this meeting and then it gets
And then you'll
released.
do the meeting
Okay.
notice, okay.
All right, so we're going with 6:30 unless there's some circumstances in which. All right, February. We have the 12th and the 26th.
It says March. Oh, no.
It's double-sided.
It's the back part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in February. March,
Oh, and it's
probably.
actually the same day.
February,
the
March
12th
would be
and
the same, but it's on
26th,
key.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So 12 and 26 in February, good?
As far as I know.
Okay, so March, we have 12 and 26. What are the dates of the conflict, Ray?
The 20th through the 23rd.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
we're
you
good.
guys got a flying on the 19th.
So 12 and 26.
Yeah, it's
As far
over
as I
the
know, it's
22nd.
fine.
Mr. Jolly, Dr. Rock, any?
No, looks good to me.
All right, April.
No concerns for me.
April, is that 9 and 23?
I'm fine with that.
All right. May, 7 and 21. Memorial Day, that the next weekend, no conflict. 7 and 21. Mr. Dodd,
Yeah, let me make sure graduation is on the 21st.
Okay.
I believe it is on the
That's what I was
21st.
just about to ask.
Oh, the graduation's on a Wednesday?
I believe so.
Oh.
So that's the only date right now that we can.
Right.
That we will probably have to change.
It's projected outdoor. Superintendent Jones?
No, back in the June.
Oh,
You want to push it to the 28th?
Push the meeting back to 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get
Hold on for a second, he's still checking.
We'd still be in compliance
it's
with the
the
5-year
21st.
forks.
21st. So do y'all want to go another day during that week, or y'all want to go back to 28?
We can reach the 28th.
28?
Well, Jolly, do we typically have a lot of stuff that needs to be voted on? Are we good
We
at that
good.
point?
We good, man. That's nothing.
So if we do the 28th, then
Excuse me.
we only have one more.
the next
month.
meeting would be the 11th. I'm fine with that. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, that's the.
That's Memorial Day weekend.
So that's the Wednesday after.
It's the Wednesday after Memorial.
Oh,
That's the Wednesday after.
why does this? Oh, yes, it is. Okay. Then yeah.
So all
I
the
don't
festivities will
foresee
happen
any
before
problems.
Memorial Day. Bill Nuss learned about Wednesday, we back in the work.
Mhm.
Okay, so 28 in May?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
And that's a regular meeting, so if we set that, we can't really change that.
All right, May 28. June.
We have the summative.
Okay. 11 for the summative, 25 for the year end. Doesn't conflict with the conference. 11 and 25 look good?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
We have the safety and wellness with UVA, but that starts on that day. on the
What date is that? I'm sorry.
25th through the 27th.
Oh, June.
It's a 2-day.
And-
Yep.
Y'all want to go on a change the day?
Which which one? We're in June, right?
The safety and wellness UVA. It's on that sheet I gave you, Google.
No, but.
Oh,
but
it's something
what's on
new
the
that came in that
calendar
I
here
didn't
says
have.
that- Are we on
UVA
June?
says 25
Are we
to
on June?
27.
Yeah,
Okay.
June.
Y'all want to go 18, go back to back, 11,
Oh.
18?
Hold on, my June shows Juneteenth, and then on the 20th, it says UAB Cosby St. Louis. Am I looking at the wrong month?
That's what it says there. And on the sheet,
Yeah,
you printed
sheet
out, it
different.
says,
UVA is the 25th through the 27th. I'm
Well, we
sorry.
don't necessarily have to vote on that anyway. The only thing we're really concerned with is the regular meeting and the work sessions. We don't necessarily have to vote on those. Now, if the 25th though is gonna be,
the 25th is a conflict, right?
him it
It'll be a
is.
conflict for me because it's our organization. I
All
have to
right,
be.
so do y'all want to go 18? Y'all want to go back to back 11 and 18? Or do y'all want to push the date earlier in that week, maybe the 24th or the 23rd?
Jolly, how does that work for you and your people in terms of getting an agenda ready? Does that,
You should be fine. We've been, it's hiring in June,
so would it be better earlier or later
later.
in the month?
Later is better. Always
Okay.
better.
All right, so we need to go, let's go 24 then. So we'll still be in that same end of the month, because a week later, we're in July.
Right.
Why not June 30th then, that Monday?
June 3rd would be better
Tuesdays
for
are
me
bad for me, I will say.
because I'll
Okay.
be flying on the
23? What we going to do, 23 or 30?
We do 30.
Hmm?
We do 30.
30?
I can do 30.
on you guys.
I'm good
30
with
better
June
for you?
30th.
Before-
When they got one
Yeah, June
meeting.
30.
30? Okay,
Yeah.
30 June, Dr. Rock.
Okay. That actually helps my year-end close.
Oh, good.
That is, because
There it
that'll be the
is.
last day, so it'll be exact.
So that's our regular meeting, right?
Yeah,
Will
it's
be our
one
regular
meeting.
meeting,
Yeah.
yes, Monday, June 30th.
All right. July 23rd. Summertime, probably no conflict.
And Jolly, nothing going on. We don't need to have a meeting earlier on in that month.
That's higher for the start of school. We wouldn't need one earlier. Most people take their vacations those early days anyway.
And if necessary, we can do a special meeting.
Yeah.
All right, August, we got 13, and that's probably when we'll have to do those.
A lot more hiring.
Hiring meetings, 13 and 27.
Superintendent Jolly, when do we open school?
We haven't set the calendar.
Oh,
We will have that to the board in February.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
13, 27 sound good to everyone?
Yep.
All right. September, 10, 24. Anybody?
Fine with me.
All right.
Hold on, September is a
10 and 24.
but it's Wednesday. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. October. 8 and 22.
Good for me.
8 and 22. Is it Great City Schools? I think that their conference is on the 22nd.
Who?
I thought it
Great
was in
City
November.
Schools?
I thought it
It's,
was in
it's in October. I don't know the dates though. I could look it up though.
Oh, yeah.
All right, while we on it.
I thought it was in November.
No, that's NABC that's in November.
So our dates are good?
Hold on one second. Let me double check because I was thinking I would like to go to that one this year.
Annual fall conference.
Yeah, October
October
20.
No, the Great City Schools October. No, that was
October 22nd through the 26th
Yes.
is what it says.
Okay.
in Philadelphia.
Y'all want to go 29?
It's one meeting. so-
I'd probably rather do earlier.
8 and 15 back to back?
October. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, you said the 29th. I'm looking at the wrong month.
Can we do?
That might work good for you too, though, because
Can we move it
November,
up
you
to
only
say
have one
October?
board meeting.
Right.
She just
Nima,
said-
when are
she
you
said
leaving?
Tuesday.
October 22nd is when the conference starts. I would probably leave the 21st.
Oh,
Oh, we're fine on that date then, the 19th of September?
So what y'all want to do in October?
No, we're talking
Give me
October,
dates.
Oh, October.
October the 29th.
That's always,
yeah.
29? 29
I'm
October?
fine.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. November,
I'm in
Sweet
jump.
November.
we have 19 and 19 only.
Works.
Work. And finally, December, we have 17 and 17 only.
Yep.
Fine.
That's fine.
Works for me.
Okay. So we only had 3 changes.
Not bad.
Okay. Excuse me, y'all. All right, with that said, can we have a motion to accept, the 2025 board calendar, with the changes, with the updated changes that we just made?
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept item 1.7, which is to set the time and dates of board meetings with the 3 changes noted.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you very much. It's been properly moved, and seconded. Dr. Rock, would you please, call the roll?
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs.
Yes.
Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes, 5-0. Next, 1.8, committee assignments and join OSBA. All right, we'll go down the committee, see who's interested, and just make our, assignments based upon that, if everyone is okay with that. Budget and finance. I would like to be on, return to the budget and finance committee. Is there anyone who would like to join me on that?
Unless somebody else wants to do it also. I've done it before, so I mean, if Keith or someone else wants to do it.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so budget and finance, myself and Mr. Fuller.
All right.
Roberts Fuller. Policy committee?
So policy, we typically do that as a committee of the whole.
Okay,
So it would just be at our board meeting.
okay. Policy committee of the whole. Facilities. Ms. Freeman? Would you like to continue?
Superintendent Jelly, how do we still need to?
Yeah, we're gonna start the facilities commission. We still have some work to do it the earliest.
Yeah, I'll do it, Mr.
I'd
Chair.
like to serve on that one too then.
All right, Freeman and Gator for the curriculum review.
That's
Ms.
me.
Freeman, okay,
And I'd like to serve on that one as well.
okay. Freeman and Gator. Community engagement, Mr. Fuller.
I would like, yeah, I was just
Okay.
gonna say, I would
Alright.
like to sit on that.
All right, moving down to, the liaison.
Can I say something really quick? I
Sure.
just want to make sure that Keith knows that with the Budget and Finance Committee,
Mhm.
that is a board committee, so they'll do meeting notices. They'll have an agenda. And Dr. Rock, I don't think we did that in the past, but I'm hoping that this year we can get back to doing that. Just make sure that meeting notices are done, minutes, and then you would provide a report at a board meeting.
Great.
Sure will.
Thank you.
If I remember correctly, that was committee. I remember previously we had like some community members, Mr. Burks, Ms. Jones, and the like, and we did
Yes.
have formal meetings and the like with notices and
Yes.
yeah.
But Mrs. Gator's correct though, because we would just pick a time but we wouldn't have like a board notice for the meeting.
Okay. All right.
Because sometimes we would switch the time
All
around.
right.
And
Do we intend to handle that the same way to bring the community members in as well?
definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah,
All right.
that's the way it should go.
All right. Let's go to the liaisons. Legislative. Is anyone who would like to be the legislative liaison?
So I was told that I was not doing it last year and I was put on it. But I thought Ray was the legislative liaison.
Yeah, but when I got there, they wouldn't let me come in.
That's because you weren't on the list. For some reason, I got on the list.
Oh, yeah, they
So-
turned me away.
What is the expectation with legislative liaison, Earl? What is your expectation as board president?
For the to attend those meetings that they have when we're at the conference and the like, and to get ahead of the legislative changes and give us reports at our meetings.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do it.
Gator. All
But I
right.
will tell y'all now, keeping it 100, I can't promise you that I will be at Capitol Conference and sit through 5 hours unless, it's more like 3 hours, unless as a board, we have certain things that we would like to bring forward to the legislative committee. The way it works is they have their platform, and if we see that there's certain things on their platform that we would like to make recommendations for changes, then I'll go. But if there's no changes, I just miss out on good content.
I can tell you right now, maybe they're not going to make no changes unless you do it off the floor with legislation. They're not going to change anything unless you have the meeting where y'all had the 3 hours 2 years ago. They're not going to change anything that comes.
I'll have to reach out to them. That's fine.
I don't remember that. Really pretty long.
Maybe they could publish the agenda or something for you before you
The student achievement
when we're
liaison.
down
Do
there.
you know what that
at the
role
conference,
entails?
so you know if it's worth going or not.
Have you served in that capacity in the past?
Yeah, I have.
Would you like to continue?
You could call Kim Miller-Smith to find out exactly what's expected.
I know, I didn't talk to her.
I don't want to put you on the spot. However, would you like to continue in that role, Ms. Farmer?
Yeah, I will
Okay.
continue. I'm gonna have to make a trip down to Columbus with her.
Okay. I'm guessing there wasn't anyone else who wanted to fill that role. I didn't want to steamroll Ms. Barber into it without.
I mean, honestly, I would rather do student liaison over legislative, but I mean, if you want me to do that one too, I'll do it.
No, your
Okay.
plate is
Fine.
full.
So, Ms. Barber, you have that.
I have that. I just got to
All right,
talk to
great.
her.
You okay, Barbara? You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Budget, finance.
All right, delegates to OSBA annual conference, that would be everyone, correct? Is that-
Dr. Rock?
No?
That's the
Gonna
one
be
where the board picks one person to go represent at the conference, and like the OSBA votes on bylaws and changes, and that's the one where you get up and down and vote.
No,
That's the one they took me off.
That's the legislative liaison, isn't it though? Isn't that the same?
No, delegate is different. He's right. Delegate is when you go in there and it's like,
It's like the annual
4,000.
OSBA annual operational meeting.
Ms. Freeman, have you served as the delegate?
I have 2 years. I mean, if you
What
want
is
me
your,
to, I
what is your
will.
recommendation at this particular time?
Yeah, I'll do it.
So where you gonna do
Well, I
it?
do.
It's an
No, I'll
easy
do it.
one. It's an easy one. You just gotta
I
go
mean,
to the main.
I'm on the OSBA Northeast Committee now, so I'm an executive.
Okay.
But I'll do it.
Do we need to put that on there, Ray? You said you're on the executive committee?
Correct.
We didn't have that.
Hmm?
It's not on there, that he's a member of the executive.
That's the
committee.
one with me and
For
Dr.
OSBA?
Rock was there and they put me, Reno put me on there.
All
Yeah.
right, the legislative liaison, is this twice? Is this it, like it's up in the middle and then down at the
No.
bottom? Are they different liaisons?
So there's a legislative liaison who like reports back to the board, and then there's the legislative liaison who goes to those meetings. I think it's the same, honestly. I do. I think it's the same. If you're the legislative liaison, typically you go to Capitol Conference and.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Gator.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
legislation,
All right.
they have their own meeting in March. They have their own meeting down in Columbus.
And the,
Yes, they do.
and the ambassador for public education?
That's still me.
Okay.
And what does that mean? What do y'all do?
Basically, I mean, we're all ambassadors, but what they want you to do is to go around in the community, and they've got a PowerPoint presentation that
Oh,
they
to
want
push
you
for
to
public
provide.
education.
Yeah. It's not that easy to do. The one time that I tried to do it with Mr. Jolly at a meeting, they couldn't even get the presentation to start. So I'll reach out to Mark Bowen.
No,
to see if
I know what it is.
Yeah,
I
see if
didn't.
they've come up with anything additional.
To the conference, is there a limit? Are we limited to just one, to your knowledge?
I think it's just one.
Yeah,
delegate.
it is one.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I was asking if is there a limit to like the delegates and like we are.
Well, you're
we're
gonna have,
authorized
Dr.
one
Rock's gonna need,
They might need a backup.
I think so.
no, are they?
Yeah, I think so.
It's up there at the door.
Do
I don't
I
see-
heard somebody. I saw somebody.
They are gonna need a delegate and an alternate.
Mr. Fuller, would you like to be the alternate?
Sure, no problem.
The what?
The alternate to the OSBA
Ambassador for Education?
No.
delegate.
To the delegate
That's like
appointed.
delegate?
That's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
It's boring, but I will, yeah.
Hey,
What were you saying, Mimi? I'm
gotta
sorry.
cut
I
my
was
teeth.
telling him, it is very boring.
Hey, it's okay. Gotta cut
It
my
is.
teeth, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have here, let me run over what we have, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve it. Budget and Finance, I have Robertson Fuller. Policy Committee is a committee of the whole. Facilities, Freeman and Gator. Curriculum Review, Newman and Gator. Community Engagement, Fuller. Legislative, Gator. Student Achievement Liaison, Newman. Delegates to the OSBA Annual Conference, Freeman, with Fuller as an alternate. OSBA Legislative Liaison, Gator. And OSBA Ambassador for Public Education. Everyone okay with all of these?
Yep.
All right, well, at this time, we have a motion to approve these committee assignments.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the committee assignments and join the OSBA as indicated in 1.8.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you very much. It's been properly moved and seconded. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Next, item 1.9, waiver of the reading of the minutes. I would like a motion for this, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move item 1.9 on tonight's agenda, the waiver of the reading of the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Our next item is item 1.10, the Board Service Fund. This would be to approve the service fund for board members for expenses approved at standard conferences at $20,000 at a maximum of $4,000 per board member for reimbursable expenses for calendar year 25. The board designates and approves the following conferences as standard conferences: NAPSI, OSBA Board Leadership Institute, OSBA Capital Conference, and the Council of Great City Schools. Do I have a motion, board?
Did you say Cosmo?
I did not.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
the following conference as standard conferences. We'll make the motion, let's go ahead and just add COSBA as well.
Okay.
So we
Yeah,
need to
because
amend it.
COSBA replaces NASB,
Hmm?
right? Doesn't COSBA
No.
replace?
No,
No, it's the National School Boards Associations, NABA, I mean, NSBA, I'm sorry.
So we will
Yeah,
amend,
yes.
we make the motion, we'll amend it to include COSBA as well. So, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move item 1.1. Are we on the, yeah,
Or
board
one
service.
point one zero?
Yep, board service fund. I'd like to add COSBA and the UBA conferences. Along with the ones you already spoke of.
All right, do we have a second?
I second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Board, is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened when you go over your 4,000.
Well, some
It's a Dr. Rock
information.
question.
I received some information earlier, today.
Okay.
Dr. Rock, would you want to speak upon that?
On
Going
the,
forward with the allotment?
Yes. The allotment is $4,000 per board member
Uh-huh,
for reimbursable expenses.
okay.
And we do this every year.
so, man, so the total amount for the board is $20,000 though. We just kind of decided amongst each other. I mean, the board decided that we would split it up and say it's 4,000. Dr. Rock provided, I asked him for a printout of how we finished for the year, and we finished under 20,000, and that was with
Under
Ray spending
40,000.
7,000 on his own. So I think as long as we stay around that $20,000 mark, we're covered. But if we see that a lot of people are attending conferences, and then, maybe May or June, we need to find out what the.
And additional information that was brought to my attention by Dr. Rock earlier. And you said $20,000 is only the reimbursable expenses?
Correct.
And all of the expenses don't
Taxi-
actually fall into
taxes.
that category. So it's just the
Not the
reimbursable
conferences.
expenses
Yeah,
that
so-
fall under
in that
that $20,000.
He told us that
umbrella.
like 8 years ago.
So, if you look at, look at one of the spreadsheets, you'll see the reimbursables. And that's the $20,000 limit.
Correct.
Okay.
Wait, so I'm looking at Ray's.
It's not the conferences, it's the
Okay.
reimbursement.
So look at everything that has the reimbursable next to it.
Correct.
That
I
has
put all
reim-
the data there so you could look at it.
Right.
But
The
Should have
reimbursement next.
parentheses around it.
when the auditors look at this, they're looking, and that's in the Ohio Revised Code, that's why they have the exact terms reimbursable expenditures. So if the district pays for airfare and we pay for it from here, that's not a reimbursable expense.
Correct.
We just paid for you to go there.
Correct.
So we usually pay for the hotel, the registration. It's the reimbursables.
define
That's-
reimbursable. Which ones are you talking like?
Well, if you read into the law on it, it's reimbursables are for board members to do their business. So you're driving to Columbus to go do your
Okay.
business, and now I'm going to reimburse you mileage. That's
Okay.
a reimbursable. Or
And
your
food?
food's a
Is there anything else
reimbursable.
that would fall under that, or those are the two main things?
Anything that you pay for personally that we reimburse you for.
Taxes,
Taxi,
Yeah.
Uber.
Yep.
Okay.
all that.
So you're saying we do not pay for the airlines, right?
Yeah, we pay for that directly from the district.
Oh, okay.
Now,
It
I know
doesn't come-
this board, though, has, you had history where you had one board member going and not telling the other board members what was going on.
Correct.
So historically, our board has looked at it where they want everybody to stay at around $4,000, excluding the law. But
And
again, the Ohio Revised Code, when the auditors look at this, they're just looking for reimbursable expenses.
Okay.
Because it would be hard for you to be within any year. You would only be able to go to one or barely two
Two
conferences.
is about
Correct.
what it's worked out to be.
Correct.
And they've never adjusted this for inflation. It's been $20,000 for my whole career. So that's 20 years. So they never inflated it. But again, it's because of it's reimbursable expenditures. That's like the key thing. Now, we didn't hone in to that level before But that's what I'm always looking at to make sure that we pass with the auditors.
It's not conferences, it's like what you spend, like Mimi said, like
You're there.
meals, travel, picking up an Uber, stuff like that. It's not the conferences.
So then realistically, this figure that you have here is nowhere near what we spent in terms of
In the
what's
true
allowed
fund,
under the
yes.
ORC code.
Yep, exactly. But I wanted to present, because if I gave you just those numbers, you would look at it and say, wait a minute, we know it costs more, you have flights to fly there, we know that we had a hotel and stuff. That's why I just wanted to give you a snapshot of the whole picture
Got it, thank you.
of all the details.
Thank you, Dr. Rock.
You're welcome.
Dr. Rock explained it to us 8 years ago. Thanks.
Any additional
It took me
discussion
2
or
years
questions?
to understand it.
All right, Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Yes, that's a good one. Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes,
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. That brings us to item 1.11, Board Travel Professional Development Conferences. And I think this addresses the situation that Dr. Rock was talking about previously, where board members, may have tried to abuse the privileges to travel. So this makes conferences other than those denoted above subject to board approval prior to registration and reservations for those conferences. So I think that catches anything outside of what was in 1.10.
And that's what the board developed throughout the years, is that's where they came up with that. They said, let's look at it in the organizational meeting so we communicate, we know who's going where and who's doing what.
Any discussion or questions before? All right. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move 1.11 Board Travel Professional Development Conferences.
Have a second?
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns, board? All right, hearing none. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Takes us to section 2. Part of our organizational meeting comes with standard renewals, and those fall in section 2 and can be done by consent agenda. Board, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move item number 2 on tonight's agenda, the approval of standard authorizations for superintendent and treasurer, looking for items 2.1 through
17?
2.15.
I believe it's 17?
Oh, I'm sorry, 17.
2.17.
David, did you move? Oh.
It's 2.17.
Yeah, 2.17.
Go to the whole motion again, please. Let's go to the whole motion again.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'd like to move item number 2 on tonight's agenda, the approval of the standard authorization for superintendent and treasurer, looking for items 2.1 through 2.17.
Do we have a second? All right, thank you very much. It's been properly moved and seconded. Board, any particular items you'd like to pull out and discuss?
No, that's all pretty standard.
All right, hearing none. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes,
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. This takes us to section 3, treasurer's report and financial recommendations. Dr. Rock.
Okay. Okay, so tonight we have the alternative tax budget, and this is the first step of the budget process for next school year. So this is like the first step. So it's unique that it happens in January, and by Ohio Revised Code and to the county auditor, it's due by January 20th. And it establishes the budget information for the Budget Commission then to certify our tax rates. Schedule 1 is the requirement of the taxing authority to divide the taxes that are levied into separate levies. So you see that all our levies will be listed on that Schedule 1 when you look at it. Column 9 demonstrates the need to produce the tax revenues to cover estimated expenditures. So on this, you want to request your maximum. You don't want to request your effective rate. You request the maximum, because then that sets the tax rates after that. And one note, if you note in the bond section, last year we had 2 bond levies, and now we only have 1. And that's because we paid off the old bond in December. And again, that was a very big part of our strategic finance for the district. And then also on that list, notice there's only 1 levy that's up for renewal, and that's the emergency levy, and we just renewed that this past fall. Schedule 2 is how the county fiscal officer and budget commission sets up our official certificate of estimated resources for the new school year. It depicts the statement of activity for all of our funds. So you can see that's why it's multiple pages. It shows all of our funds. It shows the beginning balance. It shows estimated revenue, estimated expenditures, and then ending balance for all of our funds. Note that the general fund has a healthy carryover fund balance, and this is still yielding our strategic finance plan for the district that we've been working on. We're enjoying the fruits of our labor here. The ESSER fund impact accumulated fund balances to finance the completion of our master facilities at plan and our new early childhood center. Again, remember that we utilized the ESSER funds, and then that was able to take pressure off the general fund. The general fund was able to accumulate funds for that. Also, our strategic finance eliminates new tax levies. We also control the impact of bond finance for our taxpayers. And this is all through our strategic finance. On that one, remember, we wanted to pay off the old bond, and we still had new, but that was like that was one of my first running orders when I got hired here. Hey, we want to get new facilities, but we have this old bond that has to be paid off. So imagine that was 9 years ago. We have an old bond that has 9 years to go, and we still want to get new buildings and get new financing with new bonds. So that, again, was where, remember, and I know I talk about this a lot, but we found out that on the early years of our bond finance on the new bonds, we just have to make a payment. We don't have to make the payment. So, and that got extrapolated through the interest and everything. So everything on that's working perfect. And obviously, I mean, because we paid off the old bond. So you'll see there's only 1 bond on there. We spend within current resources, and we continue to provide the best educational programs within the resources of the district. And then also, as a result of all of our strategic finance, we have new facilities for the entire school community. So those are all the fruits of our labors of all that activity on those multiple pages. Schedule 3 is none. We have no unvoted debt. And Schedule 4, that shows all of our bond obligations. So you can see all of our bonds listed out on that list. Note that there's no line item for 2015 anymore, because again, we paid off those bonds already. And we will continue to strategically finance with maximizing refinance opportunities. You could see on some of those, I note that it says refi. Those are the refis. Remember, on that refinance, we saved the district $18.5 million and took 6 years off of the payback period. So we continue to search for opportunities like that to control the impact of taxpayers. Next schedule. Schedule 5 is tax anticipation notes. We don't have any of those. Usually, if you have those, you have some budget challenges. So we don't have any tax anticipation notes. The overall summary, this is the first step again for the budgeting process for next fiscal year starting July 1st, 2025. After we approve this, we turn this into the Budget Commission, and then they start to work on certifying our tax rates. And then usually I bring that back to the board, and that usually is in around March, April, but it fluctuates, so I just put spring. And then ultimately in this process, then in September, we have our permanent appropriations. So this is step 1 of our budgeting process for next year. And then that concludes my section.
All right, thank you, Dr. Rock. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Rock?
Mr. Chair, I do have a question. Dr. Rock, I want to congratulate you on actually taking care of the district financially, you and Superintendent Jolly, and both of you guys in fiscal with our monies. And you, I always harp on it, you gathered us money to build the school, so that was great. And
Thank you.
I just have one question as far as our new bond as of 22, is it?
Well, there's multiple ones, yes, but the new bond levy started in 2018.
Oh, 18, okay. And we paid in that new bond with like 6, 7 payments? Or how many payments have you made?
Well, the bond levy passed in 2018. By time financing started, it was around 2020. So we paid about 4 years. So you're right. It's about 7 payments because this year we would have the second one would be 8 years.
Thank you so much. I want to appreciate it. Thank you,
But
Superintendent Jolly.
they're multiple bonds and multiple payments.
I got you.
Anyone else for it? Okay, with that, can we have a motion to approve the 2025 tax budget for the fiscal year commencing 7/1/2025 as required by the County of Cuyahoga Fiscal Officer and the Ohio Revised Code?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we accept item 3.1, which is the 2025 alternate tax budget.
All right, thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. No questions, board? Dr. Rock, please call the roll.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes,
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. That brings us to item number 4 on our agenda, the announcements. Mr. Jolly, Dr. Rock?
No announcements.
All right, that takes us to item number 5, correspondence. Mr. Jolly, Dr. Rock? Any correspondence? All right, that takes us to item number 6. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you very much. It's been properly moved and seconded. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Meeting adjourned. All right. At this time, I would like to call to order the special board meeting of
Mimi, she has.
So I'd like to ask a question because the meeting notice that Jolly sent out said 7:30. So I could be wrong, but I'm feeling like we need to wait till 7:30. But
That wasn't the official notice, though. My notice on December 20th said immediately following.
but Jolly sent one out afterwards.
But
So I don't
think
know
it
which
officially
one.
was
I
released.
personally think we
I
just
sent
wait
him
the
an
12
email.
minutes.
I did send an email. But he did send an original one out though.
our attorneys are here in the building.
So can we use?
Do we proceed or do we wait?
I think we wait the 12
Wait.
minutes.
All right, smoke them if you got them.
12 minutes.
All right, well then I'm gonna take a
10
quick
minutes.
break. I'll be back.
Wait a minute. Oh, this is the one you had.
Y'all want to go set up in the back? Okay.
Yeah, and cut the lights on. Dr. Rock, can you cut the light on back there?
Right. Donna? Oh, sorry, do you have a quick second?
I was
Cavs playing right now.
Hey, I was just not thinking about it. It called that break right on time. Let's get a quick